So guys, epic show today with my man, Dave Robertson, awesome coach, has worked all over the world. Now going to be what, Cape Town based for a while?
Cape Town based for a while.
Yeah,
and then the next adventure begins.
Absolutely, cool. And we're just going to chat about coaching, life, traveling around the world, and what it's like to be a international coach of mystery. Sweet.
Peace.
We can just edit out anything that we don't really want to do. So like I'm a bit of a cross-legged kind of guy. All right, guys, welcome. Here we go, Dave. Boom.
What's up, brother?
Thank you. So we are here with my man Dave, and Dave has, whenever he's in town, pops in a little bit of training. Really, sticks to that side of the gym, does his own thing, and then whenever Rachel says you got to push it a bit, like you guys come over this side.
You get the stick, right?
Yeah, get the stick, get the bells, all of that sort of stuff. I just want to close that window because the trolley. So,
yeah, it's been a lot of fun, I think, actually. We always really enjoy going to different places, and Nick's gym has been an environment where it's very easy to cultivate the kind of discipline that I need to continue training while we travel, which is important.
Absolutely.
But it's so good to also have a great coach who's so knowledgeable that if I do ask a question, I know that I'm getting good advice. I don't have to overthink the situation. So that's great for me as I'm also a coach.
So when you asked me about something about cleaning, I said, well, there's the kitchen, it's filthy.
Cleans for clean and jerk.
There we go, absolutely. So, dude, you've taken an amazing approach with what you've done. You started off at Virgin Active on the sales side, or marketing, and then into coaching, and then coaching around the world. So, maybe just give us a bit of background and a little bit of your history.
Yeah, I guess it's long and it's varied, that's for sure.
Okay.
Originally just started exercising at a Virgin Active when I was about 15 to kind of try and mitigate some of the depression and issues I had with my family. That obviously grew into going overseas to London for the first time, where I initially started waitering.
Okay.
And then obviously worked my way towards my qualifications. I was very lucky.
Yeah.
Got to work for a couple of really prestigious companies in catering and obviously in the corporate side of coaching. And then from there came back to South Africa and obviously went into the sales role for, I've done some fitness instructing for Virgin Active, but also went into sales. And from there, it's really grown. Obviously being a freelancer in South Africa has come with its own challenges, but it's been great for me to appreciate just how lucky I am to have had this experience and to meet business owners such as yourself, where, we can share the experiences and the lessons that we've learned, because they're so valuable,
Absolutely.
So
that's the amazing thing about this community is that you meet so many amazing people, and you meet so many people just happy to share and talk and learn from one another and train. And that's like what I love. What I've done with this place is that we have that open door policy for international, and pretty much you've been overseas long enough, so you count now as international. Do you actually have a home? Is there anywhere that's home, or is the world home?
No, so for me, Cape Town will always be home.
Okay, cool.
Cape Town very much.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the drought and
breaking
whatnot,
hearts all over Greenside.
But for me, Cape Town has the scenery that we hardly see anywhere else. The only place we've been to that's kind of like that is Italy and Greece. So we absolutely love it.
100%. Maybe that's why I have the idea I want to go to Santorini so much, because of the. So that's it. So can you talk a little bit about your travels, like what got you traveling and why you've built a business that can afford you a lifestyle that you can operate from anywhere. So if you want to maybe just tell the guys about that. I know we're going to get quite a few coaches watching this and young guys going,
Yeah, look, I think the thing you have to understand is that it's not as glamorous as it looks on social media, and I'm going to be very honest about that front. Most of the time, it's really getting to one place, figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and then making a plan to get to the next place.
Okay.
And this is where I kind of see, whether it's training or life, people fail often in the sense that they don't realize that you just have to do it. There is no perfect plan. Jump in, get your feet wet.
If you wait for a perfect time, perfect plan, you're never going to go.
It's not going to happen. Yeah. But I must say, I've been everywhere. Obviously, with my partner Rachel, we've been in Egypt. We've been through to Europe. We've trained with some really, really cool people. And just this dichotomy in coaching between egotism, the ego of like the super intense fitness coach, and then these guys who really are, they know this much. Yeah. There is no ego, and they really are willing to help and do whatever you need.
I'm laughing because I know who you're talking about. It's like $500,000 to come train for hour.
And it's not measurable, you know.
Yeah.
Not that I have a problem with the way anybody else runs their business, but at the end of the day, the best coaches for me have always been able to produce results consistently, and they do not have these exaggerated egos.
Yeah.
So.
It's I think. Speaking for myself, because being as wonderful as I am, it's like the more people I meet in this industry, the more coaches I meet, the more I learn, and the more I realize that I have so much to learn. Yeah. And you can learn from everyone, and like that's why my philosophy has always been based on one of Bruce Lee's tenets: absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is uniquely your own. So there's probably a good opportunity as well to talk about coaches and what to look for. I mean, you've worked all over the world, so if guys are watching this and wanting to know what do they look for in a coach, what is your advice? Someone's coming to you, whether a pro athlete or a housewife, because I think a good coach would be able to work with either, or a housewife who's a pro athlete. So.
Well, look, from the coach's side, for me, the most important experience I've had is being shut up, go meet with some other coaches, don't tell them you're a coach, go do their workouts and see how things go. And that's been great for me. Like, I know your Emet warm-up, something I'm definitely going to include in all my own training, because for me, it's simple and I can get it done.
That's it.
And then from the client side, I think that's something that needs to be made tangible, which is the simplicity of the advice that you're being given.
Okay, huge.
But obviously, it relates to what that coach's professional experience is. I mean, for me, we have, obviously we have the online coaching community now where you can get the advice of someone who's never worked in a gym.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, if that's someone that you're going to use, you deserve what you get.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we are responsible for the quality of the information that we absorb online.
That's a huge thing.
And if you want to get great results, consistent results, you need someone who's going to help you understand the behaviors that are limiting you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing.
So, that's such a valid point. We look at it from the coach's side. Gary Vaynerchuk says, close your eyes until you're 29, which is it's such an amazing thing where young coaches want to be internet sensations, internet celebrities right away, and they're not putting in the work and the time and the hours. I mean, I know with myself, when I was building Emet, I worked for a year with family and friends and ladies in my building where I was coaching them for free so that I could earn the right to start charging.
Sure.
And literally with building this place, it was 16 hours a day. 4:30 in the morning was the first session, and we'd lock the doors at 9 o'clock at night. There's 16 hours in. What is your advice for young coaches that sort of want to be there, training the celebrities right away, want to be giving the advice and the training and I'll share a lesson after you answer with that I learned myself. So.
Yeah, I think for me, the most important concept is goodwill. And you have to have goodwill for your clients, because initially the hardest thing is going to be finding people who are committed enough to train with you for free. Yeah. And in my opinion, once you have those people, your business is going to grow, you're going to build a referral network, and people are going to understand that you're investing the time. But I think, it's challenging because on the one hand, when you're trying to scale or to make money, inevitably you may shoot yourself in the foot.
Right.
Because you're thinking to yourself, well, just because it's all about the money, there's no sustainability there. That's the problem, especially when you're dealing with a time ceiling. I mean, you really do want to invest in your education, so the tools that you can use to become a better coach, but in that same token, goodwill. Nothing's going to take you further than that.
Absolutely. And I think, the education thing, and it's, I bang heads with this all the time with different institutions that charge a lot of money for a qualification, where I'm saying great, go get a qualification, that's fine, but you know what, volunteer your time for free, find a good coach, intern with that coach for free, and say that let me follow you around, let me shadow you, let me ask you questions, let me draw on your experience. It's earn the right. I'm very much on earning the right, because you can get a great qualification, but it doesn't mean immediately that you are going to be a great coach. It's you've got to observe, you've got to watch the client, you've got to make sure. I know, and this is when I started out, you ask the guys, my job was like everyone had to throw up. Like it was, you just push them all the way to the end. There was no warm up, there was no cool down and stretching. It was go, go, go. And when I got injured myself training like that, I realized there's a problem. And I think as a coach, I matured when I started actually calming down and letting the guys, because it's like, it's about training for the purpose. It's not just making guys use their lunch.
I think we've all been through stages of that. The thing that I love so much about coaching is it doesn't have to be one way, and there is no perfect, there is no right or wrong. I just see tacit knowledge and I see book knowledge, and there's a big difference. That's why I can come to you and I can say, what do you think I should do for my conditioning today? Hardstyle kettlebell swing, or should I focus more on my squatting? And I know that you're going to give me the answer that's going to be the harsh advice that I need. Because even us coaches, we sometimes need that. And nothing wrong with training hard.
No, exactly. No, nothing wrong with the training hard, but there's got to be a purpose behind it. So, what has coaching meant to you?
So coaching for me has been the development of a very, very professional relationship as far as boundaries are concerned, and helping people to understand how to instill boundaries in their own lives. And it's something for me that's been challenging in the same sense, in that, all of us, if we want to be happy, healthy, lean, travel the world, no matter what it is you want to do, you have to master your own life first. And we're all going to have limitations as far as that's concerned. But at the end of the day, if you can't get the basics in place, there's no point in, say, like for me as a coach, prescribing intermittent fasting to a client who can't eat breakfast for 6 months of the year. Silly advice. So, that's really where it's been challenging.
You're doing intermittent fasting as in eat on a Thursday. So that's really intermittent.
Ryan Holiday's got that awesome, he wrote that article recently where he said, if you can't say no, then you are a slave. And I think that's so true for our culture today. Most people can't say no, and that's why we have this problem with poor information circulating in communities where that information is actually damaging people's health.
Absolutely. And you spoke about it a little bit earlier in terms of looking at it as a long-term investment. The ideal really is that we want to be working with our clients for their lifetime or for years, and it takes years and years and years. So what advice would you give maybe to younger coaches or to other coaches that are looking to, they're getting started, but as you said, they're wanting to do the money now. It's a balance between, the money, making a living and building a longer term view. I believe you're not looking 5, 10, 15 years with your clients, then it's...
So for me, I would get a commitment device like this guy. You need to have someone who's going to call you out when you're making mistakes.
That's how we do it at the gym, man. I will stab you in the eye. Okay. Right.
But then you've also got to get out into the world and just make the effort to train all kinds of people. I've trained everybody, and I really think that there are small lessons that you can learn which are going to make your offering so much more value when you've worked with a number of different people. Everyone gets a bit scared, but at the end of the day, it's just that KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid,
absolutely,
and just get out there.
And get it done. All right, just a quick question on the travel. Travel, a lot of my client base is the corporate, is the business world, because we train a lot of corporate. So from that, so the guys are traveling. We spoke about the Emet warm-up. That was something I developed for guys to do in their hotel room. Very simple, very basic. But the thing is to say, right, how did you find traveling? You're arriving, after 40 hours, you're exhausted, you're wiped out. How did you structure? How did you force yourself? If I wasn't there, how did you push yourself to train? And manage it? Because you can make you're in good shape. So, and you're on the road a lot.
I think the main thing has been, and for me a major theme in training and nutrition has always been discipline. And I know it's not a very popular concept, but there's always this balance between discipline and then the recovery from whatever these stresses or experiences you're having will be. So initially what we do is for every period where I've arrived, I thought to myself, well, if I have 3 weeks, I can get in X training sessions. And if I can't necessarily train at the same level, I let go and I just go with it until I get to the next venue. But that being said, I've been using heart rate variance training to just kind of get a bit more of a balance. And now the body weight training has become a part of everything that I do at other venues in a way where there's an integration that I've noticed is very, very valuable in the sense that, look, people fall into two categories. Either they're not very strong or they're underconditioned.
Yeah.
So I basically break it down into strength when I can get to a venue, and then I do lots of conditioning and body weight work, when I don't have it.
That's, I know, it's like, so what do you want to do? Yeah, lift, okay, cool. It's like, I don't even see you do it like straight into, the weight room. So, which is awesome. But and like for me, like just on a personal, that's great that you are that comfortable here, because like, as I said, it's got to be when you're in town, this is your home gym, and that's really, really how it should be. It's an interesting, so you plan your training before you arrive at your destination. You're not leaving it up to, I got here and now I want to see how I feel, because usually that's not the best way to go.
Well,
look, planning.
The way I do it is, and I'm actually very bad at this, but when I'm very stressed out or I arrive somewhere, I remember when we got to Hanoi, we were jet lagged and broken, and I thought to myself, I'll always train twice a week, a Tuesday and a Thursday, no matter what happens. I mean, the world can fall apart and I will train.
All right.
But obviously, having a week off after you've arrived in a location is better for that recovery from the jet lag. So then what I'll do is I'll wait a week, and the next week I'll hit 3 to 4 times.
Okay.
But just one thing that came to my mind about exercise is that you have to learn to be uncomfortable when you're traveling.
Yep.
But one thing that you're very good at is making people comfortable. And it's such an important skill. I think if there's one thing that gym owners can do to just improve their businesses is customer service, and then learning to put people at ease and allow them to be uncomfortable so that they can move on this journey. Because the road to physical freedom really starts with learning to be uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Comfortable with uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Absolutely. It's amazing that I learned that from working with my addicts, because as an addict, as an alcoholic myself, we fled from discomfort.
Sure.
And it's about trying to numb or and then you actually find so much more quality of life in being uncomfortable. You find the growth in the discomfort and the pain. But it's like, my single most important thing is my client. And I don't understand how other gym owners don't see that. And that's maybe it's your big box gym mentality where pay us and come as little as possible. We've tried to make our structures where you pay and you must come as much as possible. That's why it's a flat rate. And then you've got to make it entertaining to the clients. What is some of the good and the bad and the ugly that you've seen on your travels in gyms?
Well, I think
and I know you're a polite gentleman, so you don't want to go there, but yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, you always see that in the fitness industry, you kind of have these exceptional coaches with exceptional skills, but they don't always have the business skills. And I think for me, what really needs to happen from a coaching community point of view is that people need to stop worrying that other people are going to steal other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's absolutely no such thing. I mean, if you're looking at gymnastics or you're looking at movement ability, we all just want to learn a little bit from one another. And obviously that comes with boundaries. But fundamentally speaking, if you can't get your customer service right and you can't get your process right, you are going to be ending up in a position where,
yeah, you're out of money.
Yeah, you're out of money.
You're out of business, absolutely. So maybe that's actually something for these colleges that run the training to look at, is actually bringing a business management element. That's why it's great for having Ollie here, who's with the Gordon Institute of Business Science, and him, you're sort of feeding off ideas from him. You guys were at school together. So this is a business, but when you run it like a business, that's when you actually value your client more.
Yeah.
Because without your client, there is no business. So it's like loving the clients, being a great coach. But if your client wants to train with you for 5 years, you can't be around for 5 years. You're not going to be around. You're not a great coach.
Sure.
So it's almost that responsibility of sticking it out with the client.
But it's the same thing I see with your business, is that there's skin in the game.
Yeah.
And I love that concept for taking advice from people, because you shouldn't be taking advice from people who don't have skin in the game.
Yeah.
And having a venue, taking responsibility for the results that your clients need to get is a serious thing, and people don't understand actually how important it is.
The people are trusting you with their health and their well-being. You are looking after people's and building people's most valuable asset. What we do here is going to affect people's quality of life forever. You know, and this is the most important. So it's like, you know, rule 1: do no harm. We're not out to injure. The second rule is to make sure that the client is comfortable here, so that they will stick around when things get uncomfortable. And it's managing that comfort. And then the third thing is basically making sure that I know what I'm doing with the client to get them to their specific goal. That's how I think our model is very different in terms of, I might have 10 people here, but they're each working their own program. Those 10 people are here so that it's not one-on-one, that I can manage so that I can have more income for that hour, as it were, but at a rate that's affordable for everyone, that will encourage them to come as often as possible. But you cannot have everyone working the same program. And you know, there are certain gyms and communities out there where you have your WOD or your this and it's not possible for the coach to manage each individual. So I understand that those guys run communities where the client wants to pay $450 a month. You know, and those are the challenges that they face, is to make sure that everyone is training appropriately and safely. But we know that, you know, the things get very bad names. You know, like, what do we hear? That, you know, you talk about weightlifting or powerlifting. No, I don't want to look like a man. Or, no, that's bad, I'm going to hurt my back. Or it's going to stunt my growth.
Sure.
You know, these are the challenges that we face. And you actually want to cry, because it's like, no, sitting on a couch eating potato chips and, you know, and drinking sugary drinks as a kid's going to stunt your growth more than eating well and training for a purpose, basically.
So I have a question. So I don't know who said this recently. I don't know if it was you or me, but we were speaking about addicts and recovering alcoholics, and we were saying a lot of them have better life skills than the general population. Because we've been for the training, you know?
Correct.
I mean, I've obviously had a history that's associated with depression for me that has I've had to overcome on my own terms. But fundamentally speaking, there's certainly, while traveling, you run into two kinds of people, in my opinion: the grateful and the ungrateful.
Okay.
And I've noticed this huge corollary with people who are very grateful. They exercise, they invest in themselves, they don't overthink, they'll see a good coach, they make good decisions. Sometimes we all make mistakes, certainly. But I've noticed people who struggle to be grateful, they really struggle to make good decisions.
Okay.
And, I mean, that's very interesting to me. What do you think?
So I think it's interesting, because for me, I believe that, and I get to read and study a lot of successful people. And one of the key things with them is gratitude. Successful people are grateful. They're grateful for what they have. And gratitude for me is the foundation of a quality life. Gratitude is the cornerstone of happiness. If you're grateful, then you'll be happy. If you're ungrateful, then I think it's also that the fault of where you are in your life is everyone else's.
Yeah.
You know, if you're grateful, you're taking responsibility and you're taking accountability for what is happening for you. And you can pick those small things. So I don't know what it's like to be ungrateful. I'm just grateful. You know, thank God I'm grateful for what I have. And it's easy to find stuff. My late mother taught me that. She taught me, play the glad game. It doesn't matter what's happening to you in life. And so that's there are people who are grateful, and then there are people who are bitter, twisted, angry, and ungrateful. So, you can't be grateful and be, bitter and twisted.
Sure.
Well, I mean, twisted, yes, that's me, but not bitter. So, that's the... I wanted to just, on the depression side, I mean, how have you found training help you in terms of dealing with the depression and the exercise and the physicality of it?
I think that in the next 100 to 150 years, our understanding of neurophysiology is going to change in ways that we can't even comprehend. Looking at addiction as an example, I don't know if anyone has read Scattered by Gabor Mate or In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts. But he breaks it down very much in the sense that we're all suffering from addiction in one capacity or another in our lives. And I think being a coach is about being well-rounded to help draw people back into being grateful, understanding that life is about balance, and that you don't have to become an athlete to be happy, healthy, and lean.
No, definitely not.
And I say lean, I don't mean weighs very little, because that's a whole other thing that's going on.
But I think that's it. Lean is an appropriate weight for your body in terms of optimal health and what you want to do with it.
Sure.
That's the thing. So, lean, and it is, lean is healthy. If you are carrying an extra, and this is an argument I shout at people about. I had 50 excess kilos of fat on me.
Sure.
I was an FA. Badass. Might have to bleep that out.
Yeah.
So I was fat as heck. There we go. And it was like carrying a lot of excess weight around. The advantage of that is it made my nervous system really strong, because I was like carrying 2 36 kilo or 2 28s around with me all the time. And losing the weight, I got more agile. I realized that my body actually liked to be a bit lighter.
Sure.
But then I went the strength route. As a power lifter, I'm happiest in the 105 category. So I'm carrying a little bit of extra but that's where my strength lies. At 83 kilos, I'm not strong. So, I understand when you say lean. Lean is appropriate. It's not, we're not trying to say that you should be 150 kilos overweight.
Sure.
Or carrying an extra 100, let's call it not overweight, we want to say to it as carrying an additional 150 kilograms of fat.
Absolutely.
That's the way to talk about it. For me, what I try and say to clients now is, don't chase a weight, chase an age. So how old are you now? You're like 24.
Turning 33.
You can do it, eh? All right, cool. So if you could be, and I'm not saying that you were then,
right,
but if you could be any physical age, what would it be?
That, to be honest with you, to answer your question early on, I'd be the age that I'm at now.
Okay.
Because for me, the development of strength isn't just, as you say, about
cool,
getting jacked.
Yeah.
It really is about maintaining a healthy ratio of lean body mass to fatty mass.
Yeah.
And those terms, those fundamentals,
she's lean body mass, I'm fatty mass.
That's not true.
There's a good TV show.
It's stronger than me, though.
Fatty mass. It's like a 1970s cop drama,
You're the one that's a knife.
Fatty mass, yeah, there we go. All right, yeah.
And really, at the end of the day, if you're a good coach, it should be simple. You should be teaching people the fundamentals of manipulating body comp with basic tools.
That's it. And leading by example.
Yeah, it's taken for me, it's 10 years, the investment has been 10 years to get to where I am in my health, and that's why I say I'm happiest where I am now.
That's the most amazing thing. You're happiest where you are now. You're happy with where you want to be. I'm exactly the same. I don't want to be 16, because I know then I can't pull a 200 kilo deadlift.
Sure.
That's the thing. I'm happy now at 46. It's okay. That's the thing. It's about optimal health. That's really what you're trying to drive, and maximum function with your body.
So do you feel that the weight loss concept is a healthy or a positive theme?
Okay, so I think people should be at a body composition where they can function optimally. Okay, that's it. I think weight loss in our society over the long term and does so much damage to people's self-esteem, their well-being, their connections with others, their connections with their loved ones, where they are focused on everything that goes in their mouth. I can always hear my old MD talking about, he says, don't worry about what you put in your mouth, worry about what comes out of your mouth, which is an interesting way. But, where people are so obsessed about weight, that over the long run, maybe it's causing you 5% anxiety over the course of your life.
Sure.
That's 5% extra. That's huge. That's years and years and years of 100% anxiety. Weight is just BMI and dress size and weight on the scale is a nightmare. How many times do you have a client come to you and say, I need to lose 6 kilos, or I need to lose 15 kilos, or I need to lose 20? Where does that number come from? People need to come to their coaches and say, I want to be as healthy as possible, and I want to be able to use my body for as much as I can. I need the energy when I come home from work, that I can play with my 2 maniac kids for 30 minutes and not be exhausted on the couch. Sure. That's what people need to be saying to us, and that's what people need to be saying to their coaches. Forget going to your bloody coach and saying, I need to lose 5 kilos. It's like, I have a client of mine, Karen. She's awesome. She's a lady that's slightly over the age of 40. And she said to me the thing that was amazing with the training that she did here was that she was at a wedding and she outdanced the 20-year-olds. That's what it's about.
Sure.
At her son's wedding, and she outdanced everybody because she had the physical ability to do so. She didn't come here to lose weight. She came here to get healthy and to have a quality of life. So if that answers the question.
That's perfect answer.
So, yeah, it's about, and I think maybe that's my mission. And I mean, I know you feel exactly the same way, is to change that in terms of what people look for in their coaches.
Yeah.
It's not about, hey, I need to lose 5 kilos. I've seen guys that are doing incredible stuff on Facebook in these communities, and they're like, yeah, my 100 kilo goal. Forget your 100 kilo goal. You want a goal? You know who I'm talking to. You want a goal? Deadlift 300 kilograms. Okay, I'm going to teach you to deadlift. You're going to put a 300 kilogram deadlift, and you're going to win gold for your country. There's a goal, because you're a monster, you're a machine, you're a beast. Okay, that's it. It's got nothing to do with hitting a weight. Because the joke is, here's the funny thing, I went to sleep last night at 102 and I woke up this morning at 96.
Sure.
It was a serious poop, but that's the best weight loss. I always weigh PP post poop. So, it's like I was just experimenting. It's like I thought I got the greatest weight loss program in the world. You sleep and you lose 4 kilos a day.
Just on a side note, that the sense of humor happens regularly while we're trying to train heavy. Like, and then cracks a joke. And
you got to keep your head in the game. That's about it. It's funny. I use that with my athletes when they're lifting heavy to prep them for comp, so that they can focus completely. But you just laugh at all my jokes. It's your fault. All right, good. So anything else sort of that you're thinking about, would like to add?
Look, no, I think I'm just super grateful to have spent the time that I have with you, and I really appreciate the effort that you've put into helping me train while I'm here. Obviously great to be building a connection in the industry that's obviously new.
Absolutely.
And I have such respect and admire everything that you're doing. I totally
thank you.
know how hard it has been getting to this point, and I certainly think skin in the game is where it's at.
Absolutely.
Support you 100%.
Oh, dude, thank you. And I look at you and I go like, post one more picture of Santorini or wherever the island was, and I'm coming for you. So, that's an amazing thing. So, and I think what I'm trying to do with these videos and this side of the podcast is get people out there to get good coaches exposure. Like as I've got my channel, you're phenomenal with that. I'm terrible, and I'm very slowly building. Your network and your marketing is outstanding. But the truth is, so let's ask this: are you going to be doing coaching in Cape Town when you're down there?
What I've learned, and this is what's been a big experience for me, is I'm only going to do anything as it relates to its ability to provide me with freedom.
Okay.
And that has been the fundamental thing for me that's brought the most value to my life as a coach, is being able to say no. Because as coaches, we struggle with that. We often want to operate a business with the intention of providing other people with a tremendous amount of value, but often to our own detriment.
Yep.
And having a year of freedom has been time for me to step away and actually go, wow, how I was putting myself in such a difficult position when trying to help so many people.
Become a prisoner of your own goodwill.
Business, And now I certainly will be continuing to coach, but after investing a year in the development of my own system for coaching, with measurables for my clients, it's going to give me a lot more freedom now that I expect from every single client. And that's
I saw you look straight at the camera there. That was a scary. I got scared. So every single client. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because what it is. Commitment is a huge thing. It's easy for us, if you've had experience with addiction, to be committed because we've been there. We have to commit.
Yep.
But a lot of people, I think they really struggle with the balance that they need between work and then their day-to-day living. A very close friend of mine passed away recently, and the fundamental reality that I dealt with that is this gratefulness thing isn't just about being grateful. It's like you're alive, and you may not be alive in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Make the time now to invest in yourself, have those new experiences, because you don't know. None of us know.
You might not be alive tomorrow. That's the thing. And for me, that's how I try to focus on living my life is, live each day as if it were your last, because one day you're going to be right.
Sure.
You know, and it's about gratitude, it's about showing up, and it's about accountability. And I think that's the biggest challenge that we sit with as coaches, where you have a client, you give them everything you got, you give them your heart and soul. I mean, I know that's how you operate. I see how you train, and I see how you train with Rachel. You guys are like, you know, in 100% for one another as well. And when people they don't get it, they don't commit. And it's almost then you are faced with a decision that, you know, you're going to have to fire the client kind of thing. Because you've only got X number of hours that you can work, because we do sell time. That's our business. And then, you know, you got to have a harsh chat with the client, because there'll be someone who's willing and able and will commit to helping you optimal. Because I mean, our clients feed us in terms of our souls as well,
sure.
Not just financially. It's like, you know, it's wonderful to be able to help people. So I mean, that's tough.
Here's a practical example for me. I've always been a stronger deadlifter than I've been a squatter, but I've never been able to hit that PR of 200. And you know, in coaching, that's not a lot, but you know, if you're a coach, that's a benchmark. And I was only managed to do that off the energy of Nick. You know, we got here, we'd been training really hard, and he pushed me to do it. And it's always this balance in life, right? Find someone who can push you, but they're equally committed.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's a two-way street, sort of, with the clients. So now, right, give us a little bit of a rundown on what you do business-wise, how people can get hold of you, if guys are looking to, you know, if the guys that are watching would like to work with you, a little bit of your, like, give us the pitch. Okay. But it's right, like, you guys deserve to work with this guy if you committed.
So the thing for me with the development of the system was that you pay to the level of commitment that you have.
Okay.
So literally,
does it get more or less? No. The more committed you are, the cheaper it gets. I like that. No, just.
So, you know, what I really began to realize coaching one-to-one was that I haven't standardized the information that I provided to clients during their 12-week transformations. And really what I was doing was working with each client and then working on these gray areas with their training or their nutrition that they kind of didn't want to work on, which is what a good coach does. He looks at the weaknesses and he goes, this is what needs to be fixed. But with my system now, I think what's so special about it is that I get to highlight behavior that needs to change. Because that's the level that it is at with the client. You know, unfortunately, we can't always be with them all the time. I don't like diets. I prefer more of a congruent approach to training. So I need the person to be involved with basically talking to me about how their nutrition is going. Can they have a cheat meal once a week? Whatnot.
But guys can work with you, wherever they're based in the world, they can work with you.
Sure. So yeah, it's a huge amount of development has gone into what is essentially a members area, and then I've got an app now. You can go into theinfinitebody.com, and if you just sign up for the newsletter there, you'll get access to everything. So there's a free workout. Obviously, can you interact with me at any point during your journey, which for me is the biggest value add.
Absolutely.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. So just that, social media, I mean, Instagram, Twitter, are you on that stuff? Or
sure,
I know you're on Snapchat now.
Not Snapchat.
No.
I try and keep it simple, and I struggle with that. So just Facebook, basically Facebook and Instagram are my two major platforms.
Okay, what are your handles?
Scott Robertson Fit on Instagram, same thing on Twitter, and then it's David Robertson on Facebook.
Okay, awesome. Dude, thank you so much,
man.
Dude,
thank you so much, man.
Awesome having me.
So
thank you for being on the show. No, and for coming through and your time. I mean, I know you are running around like a lunatic. So yeah, guys, check him out and hit him up. And yeah, listen, you have no excuse wherever you're based in the world. I mean, and I know a lot of these people in online communities are like, oh, when you're coming down to Port Alfred, or when you go coming, to Holland, or when you go. So there you go. You got no excuses. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Please for your time. Wow. Thank you for your time. Now it's time to go get coffee. Cheers, guys. Bye. Cheers.